My name is Alexander Hargrove, and at 68 years old, I can look back on a life that, for decades, seemed like a straight line to the top, only to realize it was leading nowhere meaningful. This story begins 12 years ago, when I was 56, a widowed retiree who just sold my logistics firm for a sum that made headlines in the financial sections. Hargrove Shipping had started as a small fleet of trucks in the gritty ports of Seattle, back when I was in my late 20s, fresh out of the Navy and determined to build something lasting. By my 50s, it was a multinational operation, warehouses across continents, contracts with major retailers, and a personal net worth that allowed me to buy a waterfront mansion on Bainbridge Island, complete with a private dock and views of the Puget Sound that photographers would envy. I'd been married once, to Elena, a vibrant teacher I'd met in my 30s. We had dreams of children, travel, a full life together. But the company demanded everything: late nights, constant travel, decisions that kept me awake staring at spreadsheets instead of her. Elena was diagnosed with cancer when I was 48. She fought bravely for 4 years, but by the time I sold the business to be with her full-time, it was too late. She passed at 52, leaving me with a house full of memories and an emptiness that no amount of money could fill. No children. We'd put it off for when things slowed down, and they never did. My siblings were scattered across the country, our bonds frayed by years of my absence at holidays and family events. Friends? Most were business associates who faded once the deals stopped flowing. At 56, retired and alone, I filled my days with routine. Morning runs along the shore, reading the Wall Street Journal on my deck, occasional charity board meetings where I'd write checks but rarely engage. My housekeeper, Rosa, who'd been with me since Elena's illness, would cluck her tongue and say, "Mr. Alex, you need people, not just money in the bank." I'd brush it off with a smile. I'm fine, Rosa, set in my ways. But loneliness has a way of creeping in, especially on rainy northwest evenings when the sound echoed empty through the house. One spring day, after a particularly hollow weekend spent reorganizing my garage for the third time, I confided in Rosa over coffee. "Maybe you're right. Maybe I should try meeting someone." Her eyes lit up like I'd handed her a winning lottery ticket. "I know just a person. My niece, Isabella. She goes by Bella. She's 32, sweet as can be, raising her little boy alone. Tough times, but she's strong. You two could talk. No pressure." I chuckled, skeptical. A blind date with someone half my age? Sounded absurd. But Rosa was insistent, and I figured what harm could a coffee do? She arranged it for a Saturday morning at a cozy waterfront cafe in downtown Seattle, a place with outdoor seating, fairy views, and the kind of relaxed vibe that wouldn't feel like an interview. I arrived early, as always, dressed in slacks and a button-down, nursing a black coffee at a table overlooking the water. The place was lively, tourists snapping photos of the ferries, locals with dogs, families enjoying brunch. I watched the waves, feeling a mix of nerves and resignation. At 56, starting over felt pointless. Right on time, a woman approached my table. She was striking in a natural way. Dark curly hair tied back, warm olive skin, wearing jeans and a simple sweater that hugged her figure. But it was the toddler on her hip that stopped me cold. A boy, maybe 18 months old, with chubby cheeks and a mop of curls matching hers, clutching a stuffed octopus toy. He was fussing softly, rubbing his eyes. "Alexander Hargrove?" she asked, voice hesitant but warm. "That's me. You must be Bella." She shifted the boy, clearly heavy, and sighed. "Yes, I'm so sorry. My usual sitter, Rosa's sister, got called into work last minute, and I couldn't find anyone else. I tried calling Rosa to cancel, but I figured I'd show up and give you an out. Really, if you want to bail, I get it. This isn't what you signed up for." I glanced around. A few tables nearby were eyeing us, an older man, a young woman with a kid. Whispers, smirks. I could imagine the judgments. Gold digger? Desperate old fool? The pre-retirement me might have politely excused myself, citing a sudden commitment. But something stopped me. Maybe it was Elena's memory, whispering about second chances, or the raw exhaustion in Bella's eyes, or the way the little boy looked at me with wide, trusting curiosity. No need to apologize, I said, standing to pull out her chair. Please sit. Can I get you a coffee? Juice for the little guy. Her face softened in surprise. You're sure? Okay, a latte would be amazing. And maybe some milk for Mateo. I flagged the waiter, ordered, and soon she was settled. Mateo on her lap, munching on a banana she'd pulled from her bag. He's Mateo, she said, bouncing him gently. 18 months. And yes, single mom. Rosa probably mentioned. She said you'd had a rough go. Bella laughed, WRYLY. Rough is generous. His dad, my ex, was a musician, always chasing dreams. When I got pregnant, he stuck around just long enough to see the positive test, then vanished to tour Europe. No calls, no support. I've been doing it solo since Mateo was born. Working as a graphic designer from home, freelancing. It's a lot. She said it straightforwardly, but I saw the weariness, the dark circles under her eyes, the way she anticipated every squirm from Mateo. This wasn't self-pity, it was survival. That's tough, I said sincerely. But you're doing it. That's strength. Mateo reached out then, grabbing the edge of my sleeve with sticky fingers. He stared at me, then grinned, babbling something that sounded like BABA. He likes you, Bella said, amused. He's usually shy with men. Kids had never been part of my life, but holding my godchildren years ago had stuck with me. Mind if I gestured. Bella hesitated, then nodded. If he goes for it. She passed him over. Mateo came willingly, settling against my chest like it was natural. His weight was solid, warm, a small human trusting me completely. He played with my watch, fascinated by the ticking. We talked as Bella sipped her latte with both hands free for the first time, by the look of relief on her face. She shared about growing up in a big Italian family, Rosa sighed, studying art in college, how pregnancy derailed her plans, but Mateo made it worth it. Some days I'm drowning, bills, sleepless nights, no adult conversation. But then he laughs, or says a new word, and it's everything. I open up too, more than I planned, about building the company from nothing, losing Elena, the hollow victory of selling it. I thought success was expansion, profits. Turns out it's empty without someone to come home to. Bella listened, really listened. No, all my wealth, no calculation. Just empathy. As Mateo dozed off in my arms, his head tucked under my chin, I felt a shift. A thawing of something frozen since Elena's death. This wasn't romance yet. It was human connection, raw and real. When we parted, Bella thanked me profusely. You didn't have to stay. Most wouldn't. And miss this. I nodded at the sleeping boy. I'd like to see you both again. No pressure. She smiled genuinely. I'd like that. What followed wasn't a whirlwind romance, but a slow, organic building of trust. I'd visit her modest apartment in the city, bringing takeout from her favorite Thai place or groceries just because. I'd play with Mateo on the floor, building block towers he'd knock down with glee, while Bella worked on deadlines or napped. She relaxed around me, the perpetual alertness easing. One night, 3 months in, after tucking Mateo in, Bella confronted it head-on. Alex, why me? Why us? You're retired, wealthy, could travel the world or date women your age without this. She gestured vaguely at the toys scattered around. I paused, choosing words carefully. Because holding Mateo that first day reminded me life's not about boardrooms or balance sheets. It's these moments, being needed for who I am, not what I own. Elena and I wanted kids. We ran out of time. With you too, I get a chance to matter in a way money never allowed. Tears welled in her eyes. But I need help, daycare costs, time to build my freelance business. Doesn't that make me using you? No, I said. I choose to help because it fills me. Seeing you thrive, Mateo happy. That's my joy now. We took it slow. I funded art classes for Bella, helped with reliable childcare so she could grow her design work. Mateo started calling me Papa Alex around age 2, his little voice melting me every time. Challenges came. The age gap, raised eyebrows, whispers at parks, judgmental glances from her friends initially. My old business circle was baffled when I introduced them to my partner and her son. But we built our bubble. Weekends on my island home, teaching Mateo to skip stones on the beach. Holidays with Rosa's extended family, where I was welcomed like a long-lost uncle. 4 years after that cafe meeting, we married quietly on the dock at sunset, Mateo as ring bearer, scattering petals haphazardly. I adopted him legally soon after, beaming at the papers, making it official. Now, at 68, Mateo is 13, a lanky teen obsessed with soccer and video games, calling me dad without hesitation. You're the one who was there for every game, every nightmare, he says when biology comes up. Bella's design firm thrives. She illustrates children's books inspired by our life. We've added a daughter, Lucia, now 6, our biological miracle at my age, with Bella's curls and my stubborn chin. I've mentored young entrepreneurs through a foundation, but family is my anchor. Evenings are chaos. Homework battles, family dinners with laughter, bedtime stories where Lucia demands the boat one about my shipping days. People speculate about our unconventional start, the wealthy widower, the young single mom. But it's simple. I was adrift until a toddler's trust and a woman's honesty anchored me. That rainy Saturday, I almost walked away from complication. Instead, I stayed, held a fidgety boy, and found purpose. Life's greatest gifts often arrive unanew. Sometimes I think back to that cafe, ferries chugging past. Strangers smirked, predicting disaster. They couldn't foresee a family forged from kindness, a man learning fatherhood late, a woman finding partnership, a boy gaining a dad who showed up. Rosa still beams. I knew you'd be good for each other. She was right. The complication wasn't a burden, it was my salvation. At 68, with a house full of noise and love, I know success isn't ledgers or legacies in steel and cargo. It's the boy who hugs me after a goal, the woman who holds my hand through storms, the little girl who falls asleep on my shoulder. It's showing up day after day for the people who see you. Not your past, not your wallet, but your heart. And for that unexpected anchor dropped into my life 12 years ago, I'm grateful every single day.